just know who they are, and we don't want to use the word bigger than life. That's kind of a phrase that maybe shouldn't be used. But I mean, if you want to use that phrase with this particular person, that would be one of those people that you would use it. The thing about TMZ, and I know that you're right, they had to be correct in everything that they do. However, and I know us being in media, we know sometimes when the story's there, you gotta let it out. You gotta be, when a big story like this, you gotta be that person to break it. Just like Adam Sheff and Andrew Luck, you gotta be that person. The unfortunate down part of things, some of the things I was reading from the LA Times, that the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department had issues with them doing that because they had not yet formally notified the Kobe family of him and his daughter. And now this is according to LA Times, so I just put that out there how I read it. But his daughter actually saw, his other daughter actually saw the tweet from TMZ, and that's how they found out. So that's kind of how TMZ gets a bad rap. But yes, it just when it broke, that's just how it was. I don't know how much longer you can hang out with us. We're hanging. Mo's not going to be able to join us. Seth from the Kokomo Tribune, and he's also a contributor, also writes for the Pacers and stuff. We're supposed to call and join us for some Kobe talk, but we have some more stuff that I'd like to share about Kobe. So here's Kobe's last speech at his last game.
Well, here he goes. He will now address the fans here at Staples Center one last time.
I can't believe how fast 20 years went by. I mean, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. And, to be standing here at center court with you guys, my teammates behind me, and appreciating all this, the journey that we've been on. We've been through our ups and been through our downs. And I think the most important part is that we all stayed together throughout. I grew up a diehard Laker fan. Diehard. I mean, I knew everything about every player that's ever played here. So to be drafted and then traded to this organization and to spend 20 years here, I mean, you can't write something better than this. And I'm more proud of the fact that not about the championships, but about the down years. Because we didn't run. We played through all that stuff, and we got our championships, and we did it the right way. And all I can do here is just thank you guys. Thank you guys for all the years of support. Thank you guys for all the motivation. Thank you for all the inspiration. And, what's funny, the thing that had me cracking up all night long was the fact that I go through 20 years of everybody screaming to pass the ball. And on the last night, they're like, don't pass it. This has been absolutely beautiful, you guys. I can't believe it's come to an end. You guys will always be in my heart. And I sincerely appreciate it. No words can describe how I feel about you guys. And thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love you guys. And I love you guys. And my family, my wife Vanessa, our daughters Natalia and Gianna, thank you guys for all your sacrifice. For all the hours I spent in the gym working and training. And Vanessa, you holding down the family the way that you have. I can't, there's no way that I can thank you enough for that. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And what can I say? Mamba out.
And there you have it, the final speech of Kobe Bryant at his final game in his NBA career. Tony, I know you got to run here. I appreciate you joining us and sharing your thoughts. Real quickly, if you want to share some more thoughts about John Andretti or Kobe Bryant or both, go right ahead.
You know, it's crazy. The two aren't connected, but John ran cars in the Indy 500 that were both numbered 8 and 24. And you just think about Kobe Bryant.
I never got that till just now. Tony, that is awesome. Yep. We're going to get that up on social media. Go ahead.
You think that, when you look at John Andretti, you will never know the number, but there are so many lives that he has touched and probably saved with his charity work. I've had people reach out to me that say, man, I remember John coming into Riley. I was a Riley kid, was so grateful for his visits. And, he's got a daughter, he's got a son, Jared, and Jared's an up and coming race car driver that runs a lot of sprint cars, and he's got a lot of talent. And Michael's been so good as an uncle, to help bring Jared up as well in the racing world. It just, it stinks. It's one of those things where it's sad, but I'll never forget that smile on John Andretti's face every time you saw him, no matter who you were, whether he had seen you a million times or he had just met you. He was always welcomed you with a smile, a handshake, and brought a great conversation, no matter what you were discussing. And with Kobe Bryant, you just think about him coming into the league and the opportunity that he had to take over kind of the role from Michael Jordan as the greatest in the game. And that's what he was. And that was, for people like me who are 30, 31 years old and younger, I mean, we grew up in the Kobe era, and that's what we watched. And he was the gold standard. And he beat teams night in and night out handedly. He beat the Pacers in the finals here. And you just have to respect everything that man's done, because it seems like everything that he ever touched turned to gold. And, I'll never forget that step back jumper from the arc. That was about as pure as it gets.
He stole that from Reggie Miller, and Reggie Miller has told that story. And Kobe has told that story, and Kobe's like, I stole that from you. He goes, yeah, I know you did. So Reggie Miller's the one that perfected that step back jump. And Tony, I appreciate you joining us. But one thing that I just think is unfortunate when things like this happen, people always want to try to latch on the negative. And one of the very first tweets from a person from the Washington Post about the incident that happened out in Colorado years ago that got resolved. He clearly wasn't acquitted. I mean, he wasn't charged, or there was nothing there. There was no there, if you will. It still sounds like it may have just been someone after some money. Maybe he made some bad decisions. But we don't want to make that a part of Kobe's legacy. And I encourage people to not latch on to stuff like that, Tony.
Yeah, and there's always going to be those people. That's the Twitter world that we live in. It can be dirty. It can be gross. We see it almost daily. But certainly not the right place, not the right time. I said this in many situations. Look, everybody learns from their mistakes. Everybody should get a second chance. Everybody, should move forward with their life. And, outside of, I guess, that one blemish, everything Kobe has done for so many people. I mean, there wasn't a dry – anybody that you talked to that played in the NBA, there wasn't a dry eye. He had touched so many people. He had just reached out to Shaq's son that morning. And it's just, the NBA is a tight-knit community. And, yeah, but certainly I don't like – and it's frustrating and upsetting when people would rather, say something bad about somebody once they've passed. That's just very unprofessional and very, very upsetting.
Tony Donahue, the Tony D podcast. Tony, you're going to be joining us for the big game special, the Super Bowl special tomorrow. But before they make their bets, they got to listen to you where? Where can they find you before they make their bets on the big game?
Yep, at Tony D Indy on Twitter. I'll have all my NBA, college basketball picks, and then my podcast on Anchor, the Tony D podcast. Just search Tony Donahue, search Tony D. It should come up. and I'll have a lot of parlay bets on my podcast, and I'll bring some for you tomorrow morning as well.
I can't wait, and I hope that you have IU winning today because God knows we need to win. But that's a whole other subject for another day.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Tony.
Take care.
Tony Donahue of the Tony D Podcast joins us as we say farewell to Kobe Bryant and John Andretti. My name is Tom Marquisel, President here. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to regroup, and we'll be back right after this on the Balance Radio Network.
Really from the old school kind of player that plays through things and makes no excuses.
And he's underneath a reverse layup on his final game. Bryant still working, doing work. Kobe underneath, count as it goes.
That's why I think he's been going to the basket a little bit more.
The chants continue to echo through Staples Center, as they have through his entire career.
Then go to practice with them.
A basket equals a 50-point game. Kobe underneath. He's got 51! A two-possession game. Here's his 19th field goal, Stu.
The crowd is just absolutely out of their minds right now.
Yeah, they are.
Delirium. They're just so happy.
26th career 50-point game, and that face. Oh, man, he is.
So look at him trying to get air.
Yeah.
I used to tease him a few years back, many years back to be true about him having a third lung, because he never seemed to get tired.
Down the middle he goes, corner of the key. He's got another one. Kobe with the ball, and the Lakers down 4. Bryant on its way. It's a one-point game.
He's so tired he can barely pick his feet up. Look at him. But he continues to wheel himself. His ability to wheel himself and put his wheel on the opposition is amazing.
56 points.
Are you kidding me?
The amazing Kobe Bryant.
You've got to be kidding me.
And there is just under a minute to play, and it's a one-point game.
That guy, look at him. He's just slugging along, and all of a sudden he rears up and bam! And then he runs down the court and is like, oh, wow, still got a minute and something to go. And actually you have less than a minute. Look at Jackson, yeah, baby. I said 40, but I'll take 56. I might even take 60.
Match for 3. Lakers will get a chance to take the lead, and look who has the ball. With half a minute to play, Bryant for the lead. Yes! Kobe Bryant gives the Lakers the lead.
Oh, I tell you something. This is, he was legendary before this game. This takes it to an absolute another level. An absolute another level.
Magical Mamba. Take us through it, Stu. Lakers lead it by 1.
Oh, my goodness. They've been trying to trap him, so he goes away from it and then pulls up and knocks down the long deuce. He's got 58. And the good news is the Lakers have a chance at the final shot because the game clock is at 31.6, so he has an opportunity to get 6-0 in the final game of his 20th season.
One of the most incredible farewell performances for any athlete ever.
Oh, he pushed off and got away with it.
And he is fouled.
But does he have enough legs to get free throws?
We'll see. 2 free throws for 6.